Obsession feels like mystery. We replay their words. We analyze their silence. We search for clues in their behavior, hoping to decode what they meant, what they felt, what they saw in us. But obsession isn't about them. It's about us. The people we fixate on, especially those who trigger intense emotional reactions, are rarely enigmas to be solved. They are mirrors. They reflect back the parts of ourselves we've disowned, buried, or forgotten. This video will help you understand why obsession often reveals unmet emotional needs, how projection distorts our perception of others, what your fixation might be trying to teach you about yourself, how to transform obsession into self-awareness and emotional sovereignty. If you've ever felt consumed by someone and unable to stop thinking about them, idealizing them, or feeling emotionally dependent on their attention, this is your invitation to look inward. Carl Jung introduced the concept of psychological projection, the unconscious act of attributing our own traits, desires, and fears onto others. In relationships, projection is especially potent. We don't just see the person. We see our own emotional landscape reflected in them. We might project our longing for safety onto someone emotionally unavailable, our buried sensuality onto someone bold and expressive, our need for validation onto someone who gives us fleeting attention. The more intense the obsession, the more likely it's fueled by projection. We're not seeing them clearly. We're seeing our own unmet needs, unresolved wounds, and unclaimed traits. Jung believed that projection is a necessary stage in psychological development. But healing begins when we withdraw our projections and integrate what we've been outsourcing. Obsession often arises when someone activates a part of us we've lost touch with. They become the emotional echo of something we once felt or desperately want to feel again. For example, you obsess over someone who made you feel seen because you've spent years feeling invisible. You fixate on someone who made you feel desired because you've internalized shame around your body or sexuality. You can't stop thinking about someone who made you feel safe because your nervous system is wired for abandonment. In each case, the obsession isn't about the person. It's about the emotional state they triggered. That state is yours to reclaim. Dopamine versus uncertainty. Modern neuroscience reveals that obsession is often driven by the brain's reward system, specifically the dopaminergic pathways associated with desire and anticipation. We don't just crave what we get, we crave what we almost get. This is why inconsistent lovers, emotionally unavailable partners, and unpredictable attention create such intense fixation. The brain spikes with dopamine not when the reward is delivered, but when it's uncertain. This creates a loop. You get a text, dopamine spike. You get ignored, craving intensifies. You get a compliment, emotional high. You get criticized, emotional crash. Over time, the person becomes a stimulus, not for love, but for emotional volatility. And your brain becomes addicted to the cycle. This isn't connection. It's compulsion. The trap of idealization and illusion. Psychodynamic theory adds another layer, idealization. When we obsess, we often inflate someone's qualities to meet our emotional needs. We turn them into the soulmate, the savior, the one who gets us like no one else. But this fantasy is rarely accurate. It's a psychological defense, a way to avoid facing our own emotional void. We cling to the illusion because it's safer than facing the truth. We're longing for something we haven't given ourselves. This is why obsession feels so powerful. It's not about them. It's about the fantasy they represent. What the mirror is showing you. So what do we do with this awareness? We stop chasing the mystery. We start studying the mirror. Ask yourself, what qualities do I admire in this person? What emotional states do they trigger in me? What unmet needs are being projected onto them? What part of me feels incomplete without their attention? These questions aren't easy, but they're liberating. Because once you see the mirror, you can stop chasing the reflection and start reclaiming the source. From obsession to integration. Transformation begins when we shift from fixation to integration. Instead of asking, why don't they want me? Ask, what part of me feels unworthy? Instead of asking, why can't I stop thinking about them? Ask, what emotional state am I addicted to? Instead of asking, what did they see in me? Ask, what do I need to see in myself? This is the work of emotional liberation. Not erasing the obsession but decoding it. Not suppressing the longing but understanding its origin. True healing. Healing isn't about forgetting the person. It's about remembering yourself. It's about saying, I see what they reflected and I choose to embody it. It's about realizing that the qualities you admired, the feelings you craved, the version of you that came alive, were never theirs to give. They were yours to reclaim, not with shame, not with silence, but with the brave decision to turn the mirror inward. If this video stirred something in you, if you've been consumed by obsession, idealization, or emotional dependency, then it's time to begin. The 30-Day to Authentic Love and Emotional Liberation program is a guided journey back to your truth. Each day offers powerful exercises, rituals, and reflections to help you. The deconstruction of romantic myths and emotional dependency, the integration of shadow and inner child wounds, the rebuilding of boundaries, self-worth, and emotional maturity, the embodiment of individuation, conscious love, and emotional sovereignty. This is not surface-level self-care. It's deep emotional excavation. It's the kind of healing that doesn't just soothe, it transforms. You will release what was never yours. You will reclaim the parts of you you've disowned. You will rewire the patterns that keep you stuck. You will reconnect with the voice you abandoned. You will rebuild relationships from truth, not trauma. Begin your return, because the people you obsess over aren't mysteries. They're mirrors, and the reflection is yours to reclaim. Thank you so much for your watching. See you soon.